Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are doing amazing. So welcome all of you at AriserTalent. And AriserTalent is an e-learning platform where you can get all the lectures available by the expert faculty of Kota, whether it may be related to CBSE, NTSE, JEE and NEET and various Olympiad exams. So along with it, you will get the sample paper, test series and the solution of each and every problem you are facing. You have to just post your doubt in our comment section and we will be available to you 24 hours to solve your problem. So what you have to do, you have to just subscribe our channel for more and more videos and getting new video lectures. And the video lectures which are freely available on your website, you can go through each video lecture and you can simply try to understand each and every concept, and for the further informations you have to subscribe our page. So we were discussing about the magnetic effect of electric current, and in our last lecture we have a very good discussion about the electric motor and the domestic electric circuits. Today we are going to deal with some of the NTSE solutions which are only important for your competition only in this lecture. So let's start with the questions. Our first question is, since current is flowing in the same direction in the each of two uniform coaxial circular loop on bringing loops near each other. So the first line is saying that same current is flowing in same direction and you have to consider two circular loops. If I am considering these loops here, I can say that same current is going to flow in same direction. So I am assuming that the current I is going to flow in the same direction in both the loops. Now, if you go on bringing these loops near to each other, what will happen? Let's check the options first. Current will increase in each loop, current will decrease in each loop, current will remain same in both the loops, or the current will increase in the one loop and decrease in the other loop. So according to the Lentz's law, the direction of the induced current is such that it always opposes the cause of the motion. So if I am talking that same current, that is I, is flowing in same direction, it means the direction of magnetic field will be opposite in this case. Magnetic field direction will be opposite. So the direction of magnetic field is opposite and the same current is flowing in the same direction. So I can say that if current is flowing in left to right, the magnetic field will be from right to left. So this will be just opposite case and it is in accordance with the Lentz's law. If you bring these two closed loops close to each other, what will happen? The current is going to be decreased in both the cases. And why it is happening so? It is happening according to the Lentz's law. So which option is satisfying here? We can say that the current will decrease in each loop. So here our option number B is correct. So we can say that current will decrease in each loop. Now let's move to the next question we have. The north pole of the earth magnet is in. So the second question is, the north pole of earth's magnet is in. So we have a discussion about the earth's magnetic field and we have seen that the geographical north is always the magnetic south and magnetic south will always be the geographic north. It means these are two just opposite cases. If I am considering geographical north, then this geographical north will be the magnetic south. And if I am talking about geographical south, it will be the magnetic north. So we can say that the north pole of the earth magnet will be geographical south because it is just opposite. So we can say that option A is correct here. So the correct option here is option number A, that is geographical south. Now let's move to the next question in this sequence we have. Magnetic field due to the current carrying conductor depends upon. So the magnetic field due to a current carrying conductor will be represented by B, and it must be dependent upon the current flowing through the conductor, distance from the conductor, that is L, length of the conductor, or A and B. So the magnetic field due to the current carrying conductor do not depend upon the length of the conductor, because it basically depends upon how much current it is carrying and what is the distance between these conductors. So I can say that option A and B are correct here. It is not going to depend upon the length of conductor. Now let's move to the next question in this sequence we have. This is again a very interesting question we have, and definitely this type of the questions which are completely based on the direction is definitely going to be asked in your competitive exams. An electron enters in a magnetic field at right angles. So you can see here that electron is entering at the right angles from top to bottom. The direction of force acting on electron will be. So what you have to determine? You have to determine the direction of force. Now, in this case, the electron beam is coming in a perpendicular direction. So, if I am assuming that electron beam is coming from top to bottom, then the direction of current will be, just opposite to that of the flow of the electrons. So, we can say that the direction of current will be like this. Because electron beam direction and the direction of current are just opposite to each other, and the magnetic field is coming from left to right. You can see that this is the direction of magnetic field. So we can say that magnetic field is coming from left to right. Now, you have to identify the direction of force. If I am going to identify the direction of force here, what I have to do? I have to apply Fleming's left hand rule. And what Fleming's left hand rule states that if you keep your forefinger, middle finger and thumb of a left hand mutually perpendicular to each other, then the middle finger will give you the direction of field, this will give you a direction of current, and thumb will give you the direction of the force. And what we have to identify? We have to identify here the direction of the force. Now you can see that current is going in the upward direction, magnetic field is here. So if I am going to apply the left hand rule, you have to just visualize these things by comparing it with your fingers. You can see that the electron beam is coming downwards, so the current will be flowing inwards. The magnetic field lines are here. You can orient your finger in such a way, and you have to keep these three fingers mutually perpendicular to each other according to the Fleming's left hand rule. So current will be like this, magnetic field will be like this, and if I have to orient my finger in such a way, I can find out that the direction of the force will be into the page, because it cannot be into the right, it cannot be into the left, and it cannot be out of the page. Out of the page, it means it will be like this. But we have to keep our fingers in this fashion. So we can say that the direction of the force according to the Fleming's left hand rule will be into the page. So this is a very important question we have, and we have a discussion about these questions in our previous lectures also. So just remember, this topic is very, very important. Now let's move to the next question we have. The magnetic field lines inside a long current carrying solenoid are nearly. So if we are considering the solenoid, we have seen that it is like having a shape like this. This is our current carrying solenoid. If I'm going to analyze the magnetic field lines inside a long current carrying solenoid, what will be its shape? The magnetic field lines due to current carrying solenoid will be in this shape. It cannot be parabolic, it cannot be elliptical, and it cannot be straight. It will be in the circular fashion. So which option is correct here? We can see that option A is correct here. Now, let's move to the next question in this series we have. An AC generator is connected to an electric appliance and 10 revolutions of the armature, the current in the appliance changes direction. So, an AC generator is connected to any electrical component. AC generator is connected to any electrical appliance. Now, in 10 revolutions of the armature, the current in the appliance changes direction. We are having the 10 revolutions. If we are having 10 revolutions, then we know that if the revolutions are 10 or if revolutions are n, then the current in the appliance will changes direction double times. It means it will be 2n and the direction will be given by, we can say that if number of revolutions are 10, the current will be 2 into 10 and it will give you 20. So, which option is correct here? 5 times, 10 times, 20 times and 40 times. So, we can see that our option number C is correct because the number of revolutions will get doubled to find out how much time the current changes its direction in any appliance. So, it will be given by 2n and 2n will give you the 20 times. So, it will be equal to and why this is happening so? Because in each cycle of AC, if I am considering this is our alternating current and you can see here that the cycle is changing 2 times. Each cycle will having this part and this part, so it can be multiplied by 2 to get the directions of the current and to get how much times the current has changed its direction. So, this is again a important question and a different question we have seen till now. So, it may be 20 times and we can say that option C is correct here. Now, let's move to the next question in this sequence we have. In the following questions, a statement of assertion is followed by a corresponding statement of reason. Of the following, choose the correct one. If both A and R are true, R is the correct explanation of A. If both A and R are true but R is not the correct explanation of A is true but R is false, A is false but R is true. So, this is a question which is based on reason assertion and you have to choose the correct option out of here. So, let's see what the question is saying. The assertion given here is when a magnet is brought near the iron nails, you are just bringing the magnet near the iron nails, then only translatory force act on them. So, assertion is saying that when you bring a magnet near the iron nails, the translatory force only acting on them. So, this statement is entirely false, no translatory force acting on them, but the single force is not acting on them. It may be comprised of both the forces, that is in the linear direction as well as in the perpendicular direction. So, this assertion is false here. Reason is the field due to magnet is non-uniform. So, this statement is correct here. But when we compare with the options, we can see that these are the options we have. both A and R are true. So this option is absolutely wrong because A and R are not true. A and R are true and R is not the correct explanation of A because both A and R are not true, so we cannot consider this option again. A is true but R is false. So again this is a wrong statement. We have found that assertion is false and reason is true. So we can see that assertion is false and the reason is true. So its statements are individually true and false and they are not giving the explanation of one another. So which option is correct here? We can say that option number D will be correct, that assertion is false and the reason is true. So assertion reason type questions can also be asked in your exam. So you have to consider both the statements and try to find out whether the reason is valid for the assertion or not. Now, moving to the next question in the sequence we have. The length of a bar magnet is 2L. So what we have given? We have given the length of a bar magnet. And this length is 2L. Now, the distance between magnetic poles will be, in bar magnet, if I am assuming that this is a north pole and this is south pole, these are our two poles, then you have to find out the distance between the magnetic poles will be. So, if it is a center point and we are separating it from L and L, because the total distance is 2L here. So, what will happen? The distance between the magnetic poles will be between 0 to L. So, this is not a correct option here. The distance between the magnetic poles, these are our magnetic poles, that is the north pole and south pole, and we can see that 2L is the total distance. So, the distance between the poles will going to be lie between L and 2L. So, the correct option here will be option number B, that it must be lie between L and 2L, and we have to check the other options also. It is equal to 2L, it will not be equal to 2L because 2L is the total distance provided here. So, it is false and it is not equal to 2L. So, it must be lie between L and 2L we have. So, here we can say that option number B will be our correct answer. So, just note down this question from here. These are very different questions we have taken from different Olympiad and different NTSE stages and different, you can say that these questions are entirely different from your CBSE part we have. Now, let's move to the next question in the sequence we have. In an electromagnetic wave, the direction of electric and magnetic field are. So, in any wave, if I am considering the electromagnetic wave, it must consist of electric field and the magnetic field, and in this wave, both electric field and magnetic field are perpendicular to each other. If you are going to draw the wave like this, if I am considering that this is our electromagnetic wave, and if we are drawing the components, we can see that electric and magnetic field are perpendicular to each other. If it is the magnetic field lines and these are electric field lines, they are going to form the angle of 90 degree here. So, in this case, both electric and magnetic field components are perpendicular to each other. So, which option is satisfying here? Parallel to each other, perpendicular to each other, at acute angle to each other, at obtuse angle to each other. So, I must say that option number B is correct, that they will be perpendicular to each other. So, here option number B is correct. Now, let's have a next question we have. A rectangular coil of copper wire is rotated in a magnetic field. The direction of induced current change one in each. So, This type of the question we have discussed earlier, but it is given in the different format. You have to determine in how many revolutions it is going to change its direction. So I told you that if I am considering this cycle of AC, and you can see that it is changing its direction only in the 2 revolutions, because this may be considered as a one complete revolution for changing the direction. So this is our one complete way for determining the direction. So we are considering that a rectangular coil of copper is rotated in a magnetic field, and we have to find out how much times the direction of the induced current changes its direction. So you can see that the direction of induced current changes in every half revolution. If we have seen in the AC generator and the DC generator, if you rotate the coil, firstly we have rotated it in the anti-clockwise direction and the clockwise direction. So it is seen that in every half revolution, the current is going to change its direction. So, and according to this also, the current is changing its direction in half revolution. So the correct option here will be option number C, that will be half revolution. One will be in the anti-clockwise direction and other will be in the clockwise direction in each half cycle. Now, let's move to the next question we have. A high energy electron enters into a strong magnetic field which is perpendicular to its velocity plane, in which path it is expected to move. So we have given that an electron is entering in a strong magnetic field which is perpendicular to its velocity. So if I am considering that, suppose this is the 3 dimensions we have. Electron enters into the strong magnetic field. If electron is entering in this magnetic field, we can see that the magnetic field is perpendicular to the velocity. It means magnetic field is denoted by V and velocity will be denoted by V. These both are perpendicular to each other. This will be perpendicular to each other. So you have to identify that in which path it is expected to move. So it will show its motion, and we can find out the motion of the electron, we can see by Fleming's right hand rule. So if I am applying the Fleming's right hand rule, if I am comparing that this is the direction of velocity and this is the direction of the magnetic field, and if we are comparing the direction, we can find that the electron will simply enters in this manner. It will follow this path, because the velocity vector is given here, and it will not going to follow these circular paths. So this will follow the straight path and it will be going to enter in this manner. So I can say that the option number A is correct here. Now let's have a next question we have. Choose the correct alternative in relation to the properties of magnetic lines of the force. In our chapter, we have a discussion about that what are the properties of magnetic lines force. So let's start with the first option. Magnetic lines of force start from south pole and end at north pole. So this statement is absolutely wrong, because it will not be in all the cases. Magnetic lines of force intersect each other at poles. They are not going to intersect each other at the poles. Magnetic lines of force are far away from each other when the field is strong. This statement is entirely wrong, because the magnetic lines of force are not necessary that when the force is large, they will be far from each other. tangent at any point on the magnetic line of force give you the direction of magnetic field at that point. So this is one of the property of the magnetic line of force. If you draw tangent at any point, you will absolutely get the direction of the magnetic field at that point. So we can see that which option is correct here. Option number D will be the correct here according to the properties of the magnetic field. So this is a very simple theoretical question we have. Now let's move to the next question. A particle is moving towards east, enters in a magnetic field directed towards north and deflected in vertically downward direction. The charged particle is. So you have to read this statement very carefully and you have to firstly draw, assuming all the flow of this, whether where the current is flowing and what will be the direction of magnetic field, then you are going to analyze that which will be the direction. A particle is moving towards east. So if I am comparing that, the particle is moving in east, then enters in a magnetic field that is directed towards the north. The magnetic field is directed towards north. So this is the direction of B and this will be the particle moving. Now, and the deflection is in vertically downward direction. You can see that the deflection is in vertically downward direction. Here is the deflection we have. So the charged particle will be, if you are assuming these directions of components, we can see that according to the Fleming's left hand rule, if we are going to apply the left hand rule, we can see that we have forefinger, middle finger and thumb. Forefinger will give you the direction of current, middle finger means it will give you the direction of field and the thumb will give you the direction of motion and force. If you orient your fingers of left hand in such a way that the forefinger will give you the direction of current, middle finger is giving you the direction of field. So middle finger is giving the direction of field, this is giving the movement of the particle and the deflection is in downward direction. So I can say that we have to orient our fingers in such a way. So the particle is moving in the same direction, so it will not be electron because the movement of the electrons or the direction of the electrons is having just opposite direction as that of the current, so it will not be the electron. If we are taking the proton, the particle will not be a proton, so we have to consider neutron are the neutral particles we have. So the option that is left here is alpha particles, so we can say that the alpha particles will going to move from this direction. We can say that option number C will be correct and alpha particle is moving toward east, enters in a magnetic field towards north and deflected vertically downwards. So this is again a very different question we have. We do not have any question like this before. So just analyze these things because simply the questions on the direction can be asked, but the question on such type of the particle can also be asked in your exam. So just note down this question from here. Now, let's move to the next question in this category we have. The magnetic field lines due to an ordinary bar magnet, then it is forming the closed curves cross one another near the poles, are more numerous near the north pole than near the south pole, do not exist inside the magnet. If I am considering an ordinary bar magnet, suppose this is our bar magnet we have, so the magnetic field lines due to this bar magnet is always going to form these closed curves. It will be from north to south. So which option is correct here? The magnetic field lines due to an ordinary bar magnet is going to form the closed curves. So we can say that option number A is correct here.